Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Hope you're doing well. Try not to talk too loud because her ear is right here in front of my mouth. Don't want to bust her poor little eardrum. Actually, her head is butted up against my chin here. So, but yeah, I know. She misses her mommy. And I miss her too. I really do. So anyway, beautiful morning this morning. Was woken up by low sugar. Fun. Went downstairs, half asleep. Of course, Rick was already up because he has to keep their son on a regular routine with his disability. It's my understanding it's a lot better for him. So 7 days a week he's on the same wake-up schedule, same going-to-bed schedule, so on and so forth. So yeah, he was already up. But I grabbed myself a little bit of cookies that I made, ones I made from the other day, in hopes it would help stop the downward spiral. It didn't. So I had to go back downstairs, and he's just like, need more cookies? And I'm like, no, I need something a little bit stronger. And I remembered my jar of peanut butter I had bought up there. And I kept forgetting about it. But, of course, Miss Madam Brilliant completely forgot to take the seal off. So I couldn't get that off, and so he got it off. In the meantime, I was kind of chowing down on a little bit of something else that he had in the house. I just had a couple pieces of those mini Charleston chews, you know. So I had just a couple of those until he could get the seal off of the jar of peanut butter. And then I started, grabbed a spoon and started doing that. So, joy, joy, joy. I know. One nice thing about being here is, Angie, she's a nurse. She was still in bed, even though she has to get up early so she could go to work. But, she was still just kind of chilling out in bed. She was awake, but chilling. But they also used to know somebody who had diabetes before he passed away. I don't know what he died of or anything, but so yeah, they're quite familiar with diabetes and quite I guess you could say sensitive, understanding about it and everything, because they've been through it, they know, and so forth, recognize signs and so forth. And when if I say I'm having a low sugar, it means they know the world stops, and we have to take care of that now, not next week, not tomorrow, not next year, now, because things happen that fast. So, I could be, right now, I could be, okay, walking around fine, just trying to take care of it, but the next second, it literally happens that fast, where the next second or two, dropping. So, bad. And so, yeah, it's nice being able to feel secure in some place where it's like, okay, they know, they recognize it, and help me take care of it. So, especially if I need it, and he's quite nurturing, which is a bit unusual for me. Growing up in a household where it's always felt like, with my father, it was, like a bother to him or whatever. Oh, you're interrupting my precious TV watching and laying on the sofa time, basically. And unfortunately, he had two. Between my mother, she was a type 1, and then his daughter being a hypoglycemic. In many ways, there was a bit of a clash there. But, and then living in situations, or at least some situations where people just didn't get it, they didn't understand or what have you. Or just plain flat out didn't care. It's like, oh, well, that's your problem, you deal with it. That sort of thing. So it's nice being in a situation where they're a little bit more sensitive to it, so they get it. Do that, or they just don't want to have to deal with an ambulance. So, but anyway. Oh, but yeah, right now I've got a little bit of a headache. It's like I've been up for about, an hour and a half now. I tried falling back to sleep, but ultimately, forget it. No point. And the sun was coming up. It was a beautiful sunrise. Gorgeous sunrise. So, it's like, I take advantage of it, of the situation too. Plus, it didn't help either with as far as the headache is concerned. It hasn't helped either. I had that irritating music at work going through my head. They switched formats recently, like maybe a week and a half ago, something like that, just out of the blue, bam. It was like, okay, before they were playing a little bit of late 60s, mostly 70s. But they decided to skip right over the 80s and go into the 90s. And it's not even the best of music. I mean, there's so much, 90s music. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan of the 90s. I'll be the first to admit it. Yeah, okay. Love Lenny, love STP, Pearl Jam, a little bit of pop, maybe a little bit of hip hop or what have you. But what they've been playing, I just want to slit my own throat. I'm just like, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me with this. I swear they dug it all the way down to the bottom of the barrel, and drudged all that crap up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me with this. I realize that they're changing tactics, trying to appeal to my demographic, oh, listen to the music that you're listening to when you're in high school or what have you. I don't care to go back to high school. I don't want to have to go back to high school. Oh my gosh. But it's songs like, there's a halo hanging from the corner of my girlfriend's four-post bed. Oh my God. And then, I can't remember the name of the one that's really been going through my head since last night, and it was one of the last songs that I had to listen to. It's a sweet song. I get it. But I don't want to be listening to it over and over and over again on a store loop. Oh, another one. Living La Vida Loca. Yes, that one. What's another one that's, love me, say that you love me. Oh, God. Why? Oh, and another one. Let's get to another end of the spectrum here. Here comes the hot stepper, whatever. Oh, gosh. Oh, 2 Unlimited is another one they drudged up. I'm trying to remember them all. I mean, okay, yeah, it's great, okay, but I don't want to be listening to this over and over and over again on a store loop. Oh, gosh, I want to call corporate so bad and be like, excuse me, this is the 90s calling, we want our music back. But I was reminded last night, I was complaining about it when I got home, and Angie's like, are they playing Tom's Diner? I'm like, please don't give them any ideas. Please don't give him any ideas. Oh gosh, it's torture. I feel like I'm being tortured. But we did get a little bit of a respite. All of a sudden, the music shut off. And it was like, oh, thank you. Thank you. But you could hear that they kept trying to get it back going. And all of a sudden, I start hearing Ace of Base. All that she wants is another baby. I'm like, oh gosh, please, no, no. It kept trying to come through, and I was like, no, please, no. And it didn't help either. It was dead last night. Dead quiet. No, no, nothing came in, nothing from receiving. They were slammed back there or whatever. I didn't know it. Otherwise, I'd have. Well, I went back there a couple of times, even to throw away recycling, and there was nothing there. So I'm just like, oh, great. There's not even any stock I can unload, help put out or something. So I'm just sitting there watching a dead store. Every once in a while, we get somebody come around. I even was out there on the running aisle or whatever they call it. I don't know. I was even out there. I was even wandering around the store. And of course, there's only so many times you can straighten up aisles. Oh my gosh. I was really being tested yesterday. And I'll admit, it doesn't help either. Before I left for work, I had something, I thought of something, and that I really should have, I'm like, I should watch that. So I went up and I found it, and it was basically a podcast that was posted up on YouTube of near-death experience. And those of you who have been following me for a while know about my experience that I had a little over a year ago with having a near-death experience. I'm not talking about what happened last summer. That's completely different. No, this was when I had a stress test done. And I don't know what else to call it. I didn't actually physically die, but I was there on the other side. And I haven't really talked much about, actually, I haven't talked about it at all, except with one person, with what I saw, what I experienced. But it was nice watching it, because it was an expert. I don't know what his name was. It was, if you're interested in it, it was one. I guess Oprah is doing podcasts now. I had no idea. I don't keep up with things. I have enough issues keeping up with my own life, let alone everybody else's. But anyway, this one, it was brought to my attention. And so I started watching it, and things that specialist, the guy who's been researching this stuff for like 30, 40 years, something like that. The commonality with all the stories of everybody who's had near-death experiences. Yeah, big time. Big time. That peace, that calm, that love that you feel. And I was just like, okay. And it was a nice little reminder for me, because let's face it, I've been through quite a bit since that experience. And I've asked myself, or I've asked why. Okay, why did I have to go through everything that I went through? Especially after what I experienced. I've come back with several answers or what have you, but there was still some of those nagging questions of why. And it finally occurred to me. And it was mostly really what really triggered in me is, okay, what I went through, what I had to do, let's put it that way, just before I had the stress test done. I knew what was coming. I felt it. I knew something was going to happen when I had it done. I have that sort of connection with spirit, my guides, and my guardians, where I received basically a warning of what was going to happen, and I felt it. I knew it. And I was like, okay, and I knew what I had to do. And it was the hardest thing I ever had to do, and that was basically let go. And it was weird because as far as, like all of my stuff that I had in storage, I was able to let that go real easy. But the one thing that was the most difficult thing for me to let go was her. Really the only... Yeah. I was... Yeah, I was about to say that really the only love I have in my life, especially at that time. But that was hard. And when I had the experience, I don't consider it, the reason why I don't consider it to be a near-death experience is because I knew that I wasn't going to die. I knew it wasn't my time. Because I knew that there were things, there was unfinished business that I had here. I consider it more of an experience of, excuse me, where I was given a gift. A gift of peace, of experiencing true unconditional love. And it has served as my benchmark with people in my life. If I don't experience that, then what's the point of the relationship? Whether it's friendship, romantic, familial, what have you. And it is one of the reasons why, in the end, I was able to let go of that toxic relationship that I kept having with my father and stepmother. It needed to go. And there at the end, just before I left, there were some things that I was possibly going to try and take with me or whatever. But I realized it was more out of feeling responsible. And I got so angry, so frustrated, especially with what happened there at the end, basically being told in one breath, I love you, but go and live out on the streets, basically being treated like a fucking drug addict. And it wasn't. It was because of medical reasons. I'm like, no. And I threw it all away. Almost every single thing that was ever given to me, I threw it out because I was done. It was bullshit what happened. And it's the way I look at it is you're the one who's going to have to answer to that, not me, and let it go. But, you know, and of course, yeah, it does hurt that I had to lose a lot and so forth. But ultimately, in the end, even when I was making the move out here, and Angie was basically paying for my ticket, I told her right out, we're a package deal. Meaning, you know, my baby and I. And I realized with watching that, you know, what the reason why I had to stay, the unfinished business, was mainly because of her. I still needed to be here to take care of her. And the thing that hurt me the most, before having the stress test done and having that experience, was knowing there was nobody here that would take care of her, and worried what would happen to her. Would she wind up in a shelter? Would she wind up out on the streets? Would she have to stay living in that awful house that we were living in, not being cared for, having to be fighting for her own life, basically, not ever getting love ever again, these sorts of things, having to be eating rotten food, constantly sick all the time, having to be dealing with pancreatitis on a constant basis because of all the stress. She would have died. And we would have been reunited. But in the worst possible way. It's not right. She wouldn't have died with love. But anyway. But at the same point, sitting there at work, completely bored out of my mind, it made me think about other things as well. I guess one nice thing about this situation is it gives me opportunities to ponder those big questions. Yeah. And I kept telling myself too, you know, reminding myself why I'm doing this, why I'm working the job. It is because I want to be able to give her a good life. It's because I want to make sure that she is well cared for, have the life that she deserves. You know, she's my child, and I love her very much. And we are a team, and we take care of each other. So, and part of it, of course, too, is my impatience. I am very used to being able to get money every single day. Helps me feel like you're moving forward still, you know. And unfortunately, you know, now I have to wait 2 weeks before I get paid again. And now I'm going to be taking her to the vet. So it's, of course, going to be making me feel like I'm being pushed back even that much more, you know, even though I know I'm going to get it reimbursed. I know it takes time to get that reimbursement. So, you know, there's all of that going through my head and everything. Didn't help either that there was a situation that happened at work. And basically I was blamed for something I didn't do, even though it's right there in black and white. The person refuses to see it. We'll see what happens today, of course. Thank goodness it's Friday for me. I get to unwind the next few days. So, yeah, everything combined, it made it for, and of course, with my own issues, made it for a little bit of a boring night at work. It made me feel frustrated, because I feel like I'm not moving forward. And I'm used to being somebody who, even when I was working, like retail before, or bullshit jobs or what have you, I always had something going on the side to make me feel like I'm working towards my goals or what have you. And I don't have that right now. And it makes me feel complacent. But I'm also trying to look at it all, even when I was at work last night, I was trying to look at it all as, what sort of lessons can I learn from this? Number one lesson for me, learning patience. I am an impatient person. How can I learn patience from this? How can I learn how to be grounded? How can I learn to let things go right now? All these sorts of things. And keeping in mind, I am not a 401k sort of person. I'm somebody who likes to live on the edge. Even though I have been craving this life for so long, and now, of course, I'm feeling better, this and that and everything. I want to be able to move forward. But I'm also realizing I need to take advantage of this right now also, to allow myself to heal. Not just physically, but also psychologically and emotionally. I need to take advantage of all of this. But, of course, I've always been an action-oriented person. Always somebody moving forward. And, of course, I've always been a risk taker. Always been somebody to live on the edge, whether it's, wondering, if something's going to happen, walking up to a dark door while doing a delivery, especially if it's a house that's run down, or even if it's not run down. Things happen at rich people's houses. I know I hate using that word, but you know what I mean. Or being in a desperate neighborhood, whether it's doing a delivery, picking somebody up, having strangers in my car, having a gun to my back, having guys coming on to me so hard, wondering if I'm going to be raped, I'm used to that life. Even with things, even before living out there, things I was involved in. Pretty much my whole adult life. Or heck, even growing up, taking risks, living in family chaos, this and that. I'm so used to that life. And now, and I've had friends who had the families, stable upbringings, lots of love, this and that and everything. Parents stayed married to each other their whole lives because there was love there and this and that. And I'll admit I was always envious. Yeah, my parents stayed married throughout my whole life up until those last years before my mom passed away. But it was always There's always fighting and bickering and disappointments, and I found it anytime I had, and unfortunately I had a lot of friends in the same boat. Tended to surround myself, you know how it is, birds of a feather. And then friends that I actually did have who stayed married and so forth, you know, whose parents who did or whatever. And not just as with growing up, but also adult friends. It's like like one friend I had, she was always telling me about her family. They were Italian, and very, and you could see it in her, glowing, you know, always, especially when she talked about her family, always glowing and so forth, you know, talking about the big meals that they would cook, or, you know, her father, he was in some sort of construction or what have you, you know, some sort of blue collar work. He'd come home from work and we'd take some like pepperoni, salami, you know, fire up a, what do you call it, a burner on the stove, take some pepperoni or whatever and throw some on there and cook it up, you know, and, you know, and her parents were always very loving with each other and so on and so forth. Envious of that, always wanted that. In some ways now, here I am, I'm experiencing it and so forth. I'm bored. So that's something else I have to take into consideration, you know, the fact that in some ways I'm mourning my own past life, moving forward into something more loving. And that's one of the things that I came to realize yesterday too, as far as unfinished business is concerned. Something I want to be able to experience here, not just in the other realm. It's something I want to experience here. So there's that, and stable environment and so forth. But I think what it's going to boil down to is, you know, finding that balance, the stable environment while still having the chaos. Not chaos as far as the negative, you know, the toxic sort of chaos, but adventurous. That's the word. I want to have an adventurous life. I'm not dead yet. I want to, and that was something else that I realized too when I was dealing with the boredom. I don't want, yeah, I have meaning with taking care of her, but I also want to be a little selfish. I want there to be meaning in my life for me, you know? You know what I mean? You know, like for instance, you know, those little spurts where I get to help somebody, you know, help them find a product that they're having difficulties finding, you know. Oh, let's go over here to the computer. Let's see if we can find that. You know, I'm looking for this or what have you. You know what I'm talking about? And they're describing, it's like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh, good. It's like, oh, they found somebody knowledgeable, you know, somebody who knows, you know. You know, those shelf, you know, things, you know, you stick them in the holes or whatever. I'm like, oh, yeah, pegs. You know, stupid things like that, you know. It might be stupid to somebody else, but it's important for somebody else, and I can help them with that. It's meaning. It's something meaningful, you know. So, you know, getting those little opportunities, just like that even, you know. Wanting to help people in some little way or what have you. Make their day a little bit brighter. They're frustrated, you know, like this one lady, she was frustrated because she was having difficulties finding sticky back sandpaper. Couldn't find it. So then I'm trying to help her. She was down where the sandpaper is sold, but she couldn't find the sticky back of her sanding machine that she has. It requires a sticky back. And it's like, okay. And So get on the computer, and then it's like it's Isle with a weird name. So I had to track somebody down, see if I could um, get an explanation for this weird Isle name. Oh, it's in the tool rental. That's what that means. Okay, so we go over there, and then we get over there. She was expecting it to be a pack of them, but they're sold individually. It's like, okay, never mind. But at least she found it, and she was able to get what she needed. So, being a bit frustrated or whatever, but she knew she was in good hands, and I was able to help her to the best of my ability. Situations like that happen, where you get the wife who has no idea, and her husband sends her in, oh, go to the store and get this. Oh, crud, I have no idea what I'm buying. What are you doing sending me out to get this for? Well, I'm busy. I'm in the middle of this. You know how it goes. Okay, well, they're able to connect with a woman who knows, and don't have to feel so stupid about it, you know? They can, it helps them with building their confidence, Oh, fellow female, because unfortunately, us females, we have been downtrodden over the years when it comes to a lot of this sort of stuff. Oh, you go into an auto parts store and, it's mostly guys. They don't want to be dealing with a dumbass woman. You know how it goes. But fortunately, a lot of that has changed. But still, the stigmatism, the stigma is still out there. And we feel it all the time. So, but, it helps with the confidence building. Oh, here's a fellow woman. Or even, I do get some guys sometimes, some older men especially, who are a bit standoffish asking a woman, oh, she ain't gonna know, but she looks so approachable, and I get that all the time. I have that one of those faces where people feel, or one of those energy fields, auras, whatever you want to call it, where people feel like that they can approach me to ask me questions, or talk to me about some problem they have or what have you, and they feel at ease, comfortable with talking about things. It's one of the things that I missed when I stopped having to do ride sharing, or people having problems, and they'd be like, I don't want to burn you with my problem. You got. And I'm like, no, that's what I'm here for. Talk to me. Sometimes it helps just to talk to a stranger, and they would feel better afterwards. And a lot of times I would give them a hug afterwards. So it's things like that. And afterwards, even if it's something just that somebody's frustrated trying to find a product, and I get it all the time, especially with the older men who have that stigma. Oh, so she's a young woman, she ain't gonna know. Because let's face it, I do look young, and they think I'm 20 something or whatever, and then they taken aback when I tell them, no, I'm 50. They're like, you look good for your age. I'm like, I know. So, but, and they feel better. People feel better, when you help them out. And they're just like, oh, she did understand. She did understand my problem, even if it's just trying to find something, or, something more serious where somebody's having a serious problem in their life. Just, sometimes it just helps to be a sounding board for somebody. Yeah, right. So I do have unfinished business, and that's part of it. I wanting to feel meaningful, and not just appeal to people, like it with my South Node. Finding that balance with my North Node, too. So, that adventurous spirit, that sad spirit with the North Node, while at the same time, yeah, just also being connected with spirit and also finding that balance with my South Node of the Gemini, basically the partnership. And also learning how to find meaning with being alone. Because that's basically a lot of what my mission is. Not just necessarily my North Node, but other parts of my birth chart with the lessons that I'm here to learn. Yeah, right. Yeah. So, anywho, a lot happened yesterday, but I'm learning. And that's what this is all about. Figuring out the lessons. Telling myself when I find myself, and I do that now quite frequently. Anytime, or at least anytime I'm feeling like how I was feeling yesterday, I stop myself and be like, okay, what sort of lessons are we learning right now? What sort of lessons can we learn right now? And go from there. Just go from there. Yeah, it's frustrating still yet. Especially when you have irritating music going over and over and over again. Some of it hasn't been that bad. Like there's this one song from Heart. I really loved it when I was a teenager. And I was shocked when I heard it. I was really, really shocked. And it was great to hear it again. And there was what's one song from Elton John I haven't heard in a while. Yeah, I know, you're trying to chew on my bracelet again. Oh, you're so silly. Yes, you are. You're such a silly girl. And yeah, like I said, there's this one song from Elton John. Hadn't heard in a while, and that's nice to hear. You do get to hear one song from STP, which is great. A couple of Lenny's thrown in there. Of course, Can Fly Away, yeah, of course. And that's always great to hear. I love Lenny. That's my boy. Sexy motherfucker. Oh, I love him. But that's okay. Oh, man. But, do get to hear some good music mixed in there, but it's a lot of annoying ass shit. It's like, it's like, knock knock, it's the 90s calling. We want our music back. But there's so much more that they could be playing. There's Pearl Jam, there's some Metallica, I realize, but unfortunately, they skipped right over the 80s, went right into the 90s, and it's like, why did you do that? No. And then you're digging from the bottom of the barrel on top of it. Oh, gosh. But oh well. That's okay. My apologies to Sugar Ray. I'm sorry, but that song is fucking annoying. Had to hear it so much back then, and now I'm having to hear it again on a constant store loop on top of it. I'm sorry, anytime I would hear that song when I was driving, anytime I'd hear that song, or some of the other ones like Ace of Base and so forth, anytime any of the irritating music would come on the one radio station that I would listen to out there, switch. Sorry, I'm not listening to it. Now I have to listen to it. Oh, gosh. It's fucking annoying. Oh, well. My apologies, but can you please recall it? I realize you get royalties, but anywho, all right, I better go. I've chit-chatted and bitched enough and cried enough. So anyway, here's to a good day. It's the last day. I have 3 days off, and I'm probably going to finish reading this book. I'm through, I think, what is it, chapter 3 or 4? Yeah, this last chapter, that was a little bit tough to read. I know. I'm not going to say why. If they want to ask me, they can ask me. So, But yeah, it's been a little bit difficult to read. So, but that's okay. All right, I better go. I love you guys. I'll talk to y'all soon. Love you.